Hi guys, what is it? Welcome back to the channel for something a bit different actually. It's not FIFA gameplay, although I am using FIFA for this. My Premier League predictions for 10 years time. Okay, so this is 2030. We'll be in 2030 in 10 years time. Yeah, we're just going to start right now. Who I think is going to be top. Alright, let's get into it. Now, if you look at the moment, Chelsea probably don't have the best squad. But if you look at their youth, especially with the transfer ban, by then if they can keep hold of Tammy Abraham, make a couple of good signings, then they'll have a real good squad by 2030. So I think Chelsea will be first on the list. I think they'll be top, and with the Newcastle takeover and all of that, they'll have some good challenge. Second is Newcastle. I do think they're not gonna waste all their money on your James Rodriguez's. Oh, what have I done? Sorry. I don't think they're gonna waste their money on the likes of James Rodriguez, even though that would be a sensible addition to the Newcastle squad. I think they're most likely to go with youngsters who are unproven, but could get them up to that height in 10 years' time. And if the takeover goes in, then I think they'll finish second. I'm not going to say, if they don't, then I think they'll finish bottom or whatever. No, second. Third, Liverpool. I mean, Jurgen Klopp's not likely to be manager in 10 years' time, but if he can build, obviously, the good youth. We saw it. Liverpool in the Carabao Cup was a tougher game for Villa than expected, because they had some really good pacey youth, the likes of Harvey Elliott, and if he doesn't get game time even next season at Liverpool, I can see him going to another top 6 club. I'd gladly take him at Villa. I think he's only like 64 rated at FIFA, and I'm a bit bad because I do take FIFA ratings a lot. If you look at that Villa squad, 77, 75, 75, compared to Liverpool squad, I would expect Liverpool to win massively, to be honest. But no, I shouldn't, because Harvey Elliott is only 64 rated on the game, but he's really good in real life. Compared to that, he won a penalty against Arsenal in the cup. If you haven't seen it, obviously, search it up. I'm not going to leave a link or anything. I don't want to get copyrighted, to be honest. Or search up Villa Liverpool. And we won 5-0, but they put up a good fight, especially in the second half, and so did he. Number 4, Manchester United. And I think 2030, they'll have the likes of, Rashford will be a good player. Don't say it. Oh, Daniel James will be a good player. Oh, I hate him so much. I'm sorry. I don't like him. He's not a good player. He's an okay player, but he dives like really bad. And, you can say Grealish dives, but not to the extent that Daniel James does. If Daniel James gets taken out, he's Neymar style, But I think Man City, with the takeover, with obviously the transfer ban, will be lagging behind Man United, which is why I've gone with them 5th. I didn't even need to cut anything for that because they're right next to each other. I think Manchester City will not win any league titles after this. That might be a big thing to say, but it really depends on how many players are going to leave, because, the European ban, I don't think they can appeal now. I'm not quite sure. If you know anything else to what I know, please, comment down in the comment section. But I do think that they will, that they're going to get banned from Europe. But yeah, if they do, obviously it'll be tragic for them, and they'll lose all of the Bruyners. I think they'll even lose Phil Foden, even though a lot of people have been saying this is going to be brilliant for him. I think they will. And automatically, even though it's Man City, they're already a lot behind the likes of Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and even us in terms of fan base. And the likes of Wolves as well. Just to say a few, because it's only recent history, but they will. I don't think that they will do very well, because I don't think they'll do very well because I think they'll crumble slightly. Like, I think next season they'll have like a Europa League standard season. But obviously they can't get into Europa League, but they'll have a Europa League standard season. But anyway, what I was saying about the fans as well, you know, and they're not going to attract any players. So, yeah, and then 6th, this might be a bit of a wild card, but no, I don't know if this is biased or not, but I'm going to say Villa for 6th. Because we have a good young squad, and providing we don't go down this season, then we're going to keep Grealish. And providing we don't go down this season, I think we'll be 6th in about 10 years, having, you know, probably got back into Europe, hopefully. And, yeah, I really hope that we can do that. 6th. I hope. It's not very promising though, I mean. But yeah, that may have been one of the most unpopular opinion I've ever done on my channel. Anyway, 7th. Oh, why am I doing like this for? Oh well. Leicester. Scrap that. I'm sorry. They're going to lose all their big players. They're going to lose the likes of Leicester. The likes of Leicester. They're going to lose the likes of Yuri Tielemans. They're going to lose Maddison because even though Maddison isn't as good as Grealish, Maddison is in a team that's top 6. So he's proven in a top 6 team. And next season, he'll most likely be proven in Europe, depending on what goes on with the you-know-what virus. So, yeah. And anyway, Arsenal, I think, will be 7th. I think after, you know, I think this season they're probably bound to finish mid-table. I think the European dreams set sail and gone now. But they just aren't. I just don't think that they've got enough youth to go into the top 6. But I know they've got the likes of Martinelli. You know what I mean? With the youth, it's tough because Martinelli, will he go? Will he stay? I mean, he's Brazilian. So, I mean, like, if a big club like Barca comes, will he go? Is he an Arsenal fan? We don't know too much about Martinelli, but, you know, if you're an Arsenal fan, comment down below. I'm sorry if I've offended any of your clubs by this. You know, this is just my opinion. It's really impossible. If I get at least one of these right, I'll come back in 10 years, make a video, and I will celebrate a lot. Yeah, we still haven't seen any lower league clubs, but I promise you, you will. Promise you. 8th, Salford. No, this just isn't even funny. No, okay, because I'm on them, I may as well talk about them. Obviously, the Manchester-based club, they're going to have loads of money pumped into them because they're just a Manchester team. Manchester teams have loads of money pumped into them, unless they're Bolton, and I really feel for them, to be honest. But you know what? I think they'll probably be in the Championship by then. 10 years' time, I think they'll be in the Championship. If they're in the Premier League, then yeah. I'll have to come back and make a video. I'll even wear a Salford shirt for you. But seriously though, that logo is like, it looks like it was actually created by FIFA. I think they've only been around like 2 years or something. I'm not saying that now. They're going to be like a like ancient club, aren't they? I don't know. But yeah, they were promoted last season to the league, to the EFL from the non-league, but I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they'll get in the Premier League in the next 10 years, but I think Championship is definitely their push. 8th, Fulham. I think Fulham have got an exciting next 10 years. I'm not actually sure. Okay, I need to go into their squad. To be honest, I'm not. I know that they've got a good squad, but I'm not very sure if they. Sorry, I'm just doing this now. I'm not going to play it. The likes of Mitrovic, around 10 years, he won't be there. Cavallero won't. Knockout, I know he's already on loan. They don't actually have that much young talent. I mean, that guy might stick around. You know, the Rodak will probably. This squad is good. Onoma, we had him at Villa. He's a brilliant player. Yeah, so he's most likely to be around then, and I think they will have a good squad. Apparently they've got a good youth, you know. I literally have nothing to back up about what I just said. But yeah, Fulham 8th, and it might be a bit much, but yeah. And 9th, we've got Wolves. I mentioned them earlier in this video. You know, they're promising. I mentioned them about, you know, when I was talking about Man City. They've got a good fan base. But, you know, it's the West Midlands fans for, you know, and the Black Country lads. Yeah, they've got a brilliant fan base, to be honest. And, you know, the likes of Villa, Wolves, even West Brom, they've got all good fan bases that will attract players in the future. And hopefully, you know, we'll see all four the Premier League teams in the Premier League. All four of the Premier League, all four of the West Midlands team in the Premier League. That'd be good. You know, good spirits. You know, even Birmingham City, and I obviously hate them, just simply because I'm a Villa fan. Yeah, but you look at Wolves' squad now. It's got so much promising talent, but I think for 10 years, it hasn't got as much promising talent. I think they'll have young players in 10 years again. I don't think Nuno would be boss, but I think, yeah, I think they'll have young players that will, by 5 years by 5 years forward from that 10 years, will, you know, be challenging for Champions League, challenging for, you know, the FA Cups, the EFL Cups, and, you know, even the Premier League. Yeah, I think Wolves have got an exciting couple of years ahead of them, but they have to realise that after them is going to come these type of times, and I think they'll finish 9th. And that's not me just saying that because I'm a Villa fan. That's me saying it because I think, you know, if they lose all of their big players, you know, the Adamas, Traorés, the Raul Jimenez, the Jota, all of that, by then they would have. Here you go. In 10th, it's Tottenham. Strap yourselves in, Spurs fans, because I'm sorry, I didn't really want to tell you this, but it's not going to be a pretty 10 years. My prediction, Mourinho wins your trophy, because that's just what Mourinho does. And then you go on another trophy drought. Yeah, and then Kane will go to like a Man United or you know, Liverpool or someone like that when he's like 30 odds for some stupid reason, or move to a different league so he can get trophies. And then about halfway through all of this, another change in manager, Mourinho gets sacked, and then I don't know where you go from that. But, you know, I've heard news that Poch could be coming back. That's really good for Spurs fans. I mean, personally, it would be great to see him back in the Premier League. He's such a good manager. But, you know, I love Jose Mourinho's competitiveness in the Prem. It's just so funny and it's so amazing to watch. Like, Tottenham, Man City, that's always going to be a good game now. Man United, Man City, that was always going to be a good game. Real Madrid, Barca, when they were, you know, those manager, it's just always, you know, it's going to provide a good clash. And I think we will miss Mourinho in the Premier League if he does go again and Poch comes in, but it could be really beneficial for Spurs fans. I think it's a crazy thing to say, but in the next 10 years, he will be in charge if they get him in the next year, I'd say. But if not, then who do you have? Who do you have to look forward to? I need to see. I'm sorry. I'm going to say anyone under 25. So, Dele Alli, okay, that's fair. Bergwijn, if you get him back on loan, you do well with him. Winks, yeah. Lo Celso, Sanchez, I'm quickly regretting this. Davies, Ndombele, Dyer even, Fernandez, Sessegnon. Wow. Okay, I'm regretting this. Tanganga, Skip, fourth. Harry Kane, as I've said, I think he will go. Sissoko, well, I think he'll go. Troy Parrott, Fagan Walcott, who's that? Vorm, Whiteman, Hins, Bennett, White, Bowden, apparently he's good. Leeson Foster, some of these I've never heard of. Richards, I've heard of him. But, you know, I think he still have a promising future. Depending on what managerial changes that Levy makes. But worst case scenario, you're going to finish 10th, yeah. I think Everton will be 11th. With Carlo Ancelotti, they've got at least another promising 3 years, and I think they'll spend those years in and out of Europe. And then this year that we're predicting will probably be their last year in Europe before, you know, maybe a couple of years in absence and then back in. But they've got some good youth. They've got the likes of Tom Davies and all of that. Yeah, they have got some good youth, but I think 11th. And, you know, I still think that they will have not won a Merseyside derby by this. Okay, I think Leicester will be 11th. Obviously, as I said, you know, I would have predicted them higher, but I think they will lose a lot of young talent, which is a shame. But I still think they'll be left with the likes of Harvey Barnes, which is some good talent. Yeah, so... and their academy apparently produces some good players. And, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know too many players in their academy currently. But, yeah, the Leicester squad apparently... I need to stop saying the word apparently, but the Leicester squad, you know, probably a bit of downfall from grace, judging by, you know, where they are at the moment. But if I'd have said this last season, then it would have seemed a bit realistic at least. Yeah, and I think Brendan Rodgers probably won't be in charge by then. But he probably would have left about a year before that, you know. Like, we're talking 2029, he'd have left, and then, yeah, so. Yeah, and I think Sheffield United will be 13th by then. And after, you know, a bit of a downfall from grace, obviously, after what's happened this season. And then they'll finish pretty much halfway down the league from there in the next 10 years. But I still think Chris Wilder again will be in charge. He's never going to leave that club. He's a Sheffield United fan through and through, so I don't think he'll leave at all, to be honest. But yeah, so 14th. 14th in the league, I've predicted Brentford, because I think by then they will have, you know, obviously the good young talent. They produced a lot of good talent. So it should be a good Premier League run for them. I think they'll be promoted next season and then try and stay up and just sit around like bottom, middle-ish half of the table for the next couple of years. And then obviously 10 years, they'll be 14th. Okay, so 15th, Southampton. I don't know too much about their youth and whether or not they're good at recruiting youth, but I think, well, just ask Liverpool. Yeah, they are good at recruiting youth, but they normally let go of their youth a lot of time. A lot of the time. So I think they'll finish 15th still. They'll still be in the league. But, you know, I think they probably won't have had Europe in the 10 years like what they've been trying to aim for. But I think 15th. And for 16th, I've gone with Derby County, the team who Villa... Oh, I'm sorry about the camera there, shaking it a bit. the team who Villa beat, of course, in the playoff final. Oh, look at that. That was 2-1. Anyway, but, you know, they've lost 3 playoff finals. I think they've lost three playoff finals, all of 3 that they've contested in since going down in 2008. As a Derby fan, you're going to think your club's cursed. Believe me, by 10 years' time, you'll have your first season in the Premier League. This will be your first season back in the Premier League. After, you know, bouncing around in the Championship mid-table-ish, challenging again, but and you'll finish 16th. And I probably think if you do get up to the Premier League, you know, whenever it is, I think Derby will do well. You know, they've got some good tactical awareness to back them up now, whereas last season, you know, it was just they had the experience and youngster mixed in. Even though Lampard was a good manager, 17th, Hull. We start to see a lot of Championship clubs now. I think, you know, in the next couple of years, Hull will probably go down to League One. They'll come back up. They'll be Premier League. They'll go to the Championship. They'll win it the first season, be Premier League. They'll finish 17th ever so slightly. And this will be the season they finish 17th, 2030. But it's probably going to be, I predict for the next 10 years, probably bouncing towards the lower end of the Championship and a higher end of League One for Hull. To be fair, you know, they've got some good players, but they do tend to let go of their players very easily because their ownership just doesn't keep hold of that young talent. So I'm saying 17th for Hull. 18th, Leeds. I think, you know, this will probably be their 3rd season back in the big time. And I think they'll go down here. You know, they've been probably towards the bottom end of the league, and they will be covering the 18th, the first relegation spot, 18th. It's really the position. It's the second hardest. I'd probably say the 3rd hardest position to finish in. The first is second. That sounds so weird, but the first hardest position to finish in is second. The second hardest position to finish in is bottom, and the last hardest position to finish in is 18th, because you know that you're so close, yet so far, and then with bottom, you know, you're just the humiliating laughingstock of the Premier League. Something that I know absolutely nothing about. We've never been the laughingstock of the Premier League. Can't remember that. And we have our first League One team, 19th Sunderland, the team who would be thought to be ridiculous in League One 10 years ago. Well, here we are. It's difficult to predict this team's future, you know, because are they going to go up or are they going to go down? But I think a couple of years' time they'll go into the Championship. I'll probably give that 3 years. And then I'll probably say 2 years after that they go into the Premier League. They do well in the Premier League, but then they drop down into the Championship just when they were recording their documentary, Sunderland Till I Die. Seriously, that documentary is going to last forever. It's never going to get done. It will never get done. Never ever get done. Just, the club's cast. That's all I can say. Crystal Palace, bottom of the league. I mean, if you look at us 10 years before we went down, 2006, we were doing well. But this is really how I base Palace bottom. I don't see them necessarily as a feeder club to the top 6, but they give a lot of their good talent to the top 6. Sorry, I'm going back into this screen again. I just want to see what kind of talent I think will be leaving. I think Benteke will go, but I don't think that will really affect them, because I think he's a brilliant player, but as soon as he went to Liverpool, after what he did there, he just lost a lot of confidence. But I really have nothing to defend. You've done this to yourself. Milivojevic, he'll be gone by then anyway, but same with McCarthy. They have an old midfield free, but I think Zaha, obviously, talks of him leaving this season. I still don't think that will affect them. I still think they'll stay up fine next season or all of that. Whereas, you know, if we were looking back a year, then maybe we'd think that it would affect them. Their back line, they just have a lot of old talent. I don't think there's anyone there's no one in the starting 11 younger than 25. Or on the bench, isn't? No, we've got a 24-year-old on the bench. 23. Okay, we have 2 people out of the whole starting 11 and the whole starting 11 and the bench who are under 25. And to be honest, that doesn't really do any good for Palace. But I'm saying bottom, and that is because I think they will do well in the next 10 years. Well, somewhere along the lines, they're going to do well. Because you're going to have your ups and your downs. But I don't think they'll get relegated in those 10 years and come back up or whatever. But I think they'll go down here. That we've come to the end of the video now. Thank you. Drop a like and subscribe. Comment down below. It's very difficult to you know, pick the teams from like 10 years into the future. By then, you know, we might have robots playing for us. You don't know, and by then Salford might actually be in the Premier League. You look at the last 10 years, who would have expected Leicester to have won the league? Who would have expected Aguero to have done what he did? Who even expected City to win the league as many times as they had in the last decade? I think it's been 4, 5, something like that. I'm not sure, to be honest. But, you know, they've won it quite a lot of times, and no one, you know, they thought the takeover would just, even though a lot of City fans had faith in it and, oh, it's a new beginning, a lot of other fans just thought this is just going to kill them off even more because of the way that they're just having loads of good players pumped into their club. Eventually there's going to be something to stop this. Yeah, so, but it's tough to predict. I mean, as a Villa fan, probably didn't think Villa were going to go down in those 10 years. We were literally on the brink of Europe, on the brink of Champions League in 2010. Here we are now. Still haven't kicked a ball in the Champions League. And we're just waiting for our big moment. After spending so many years in the Championship, pretty much half of the decade in the Championship, certainly the later half, after getting relegated, which we never thought would happen, and especially in the manner that it did. But yeah, and then we look at other teams as well. Man United, did they expect to be overtaken by their rivals in terms of success? There's a lot of teams here that Sheffield United, would we have predicted them in the Premier League? It's so hard. I've made it such a long video as well, so please drop a like, subscribe. I'm going to read out the teams again. So, top of the league is Chelsea. Second in the league is Newcastle. Third in the league is Liverpool. Fourth in the league is Manchester United. Fifth in the league is Man City. I could have triggered so many fans there. Liverpool over Man United, and then Man United over Man City. Sixth in the league is Villa. Unpopular opinion. I've said it, so please don't, you know, absolutely go mad at me in the comment section. Seventh is Arsenal. Eighth is Fulham. Unpopular opinion again. Ninth is Wolves. 10th is Spurs. 11th is Everton. 12th is Leicester. 13th is Sheffield United, 14th is Brentford. 15th is Southampton. 16th is Derby. 17th is Hull. 18th is Leeds. 19th is Sunderland. 20th is Crystal Palace. and again, we've come to the end of the video. I'm sorry that there wasn't any episode 6 of the career mode. It will be out tomorrow. You know, I've just been doing so much lately, and I just wanted to put my feet up and relax. So thank you, and again, I put a little comment down in my last video. Would you like to see Fortnite gameplay? I'd be more than happy to do it, even though, you know, it's not my favourite game. I'm not fond of it at all, to be honest. But yeah, thank you, Gamer Out.